Goodness. Alrighty. So, good morning and happy spring, everybody. That's right. So, we will start today in that comfortable seated position, as that is where I am. So, give yourselves that little wiggle. Close your eyes. Pull the shoulders back and down. Feel the sitting bones pressing in to our mats. Breathe and direct that diaphragm all the way down in towards our belly. And then inhale, we'll lift the hands up to the sky, doing our best not to arch in the back here. We're just making ourselves tall. Pull the shoulders back, reach with the fingers. Good, and then exhale, we'll go over to the right, lowering that right hand down, reaching up and over with the left. Good, and then inhale, nice and high. And then over to the left on that exhale. Good, and then inhale. Good, exhale, let's bend those elbows. Palms face forward, pull the shoulders together behind us, lift the heart. Good, and then inhale, back up high. And then exhale, lowering them down, keeping that chest open. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. Inhale up. Good. Exhale down. Good. Let's bring those hands out in front of us. We'll take that right arm and cross over our body. We can use that left arm or the hand to bring that right arm across. And then think about that right shoulder. Drop it away. Make that neck nice and long. Good, and now let's release that hand. We'll bring it behind us, and the left hand will find it again on that left hip. And then again, dropping those shoulders away from the ears, and then we'll lower the head over toward the left. Good, and then gently we'll release that arm. Hands will come out and we'll go to the other side. So left arm comes across, right arm, we'll gather it up, lowering the shoulders away from the ears, reaching with those right fingers. Left fingers reaching across with the left fingers. I don't know anymore. Big breaths. Let it go. And now let's release that arm. Left hand goes back behind to try and find that right hip. And we'll anchor it there with our right hand. Lengthen in the neck, and then we'll lower the ear over to the right. One more breath. And then we'll release. Hands will come up as we inhale. And now exhale, let's fold forward, bringing the chest and hands forward, sitting bones still staying on to our mats. Good, and while our chest is low, let's walk those hands over to one side, bringing our chest over the knee. And then we'll slowly walk those hands back to the center. Take one breath here in the middle. Get that length in the spine. And then when we're ready, we'll walk those hands over to the other side. Good, and now let's bring those hands back to the center. Again, one breath. Good, and then we'll slowly walk those hands back towards us, lifting the chest. Good. And now let's extend those legs out in front of us. Wiggle our feet, toes a little bit. Give them some blood. Make sure that those sitting bones are underneath of us. Move that muscle away. And then with our hands on our thighs, we'll just slowly walk them down. Chest will follow into a forward fold. Good. And now on that next exhale, let's just drop the head. The arms can just hang by our sides here. Go round in the spine for just a couple of breaths. And then we'll slowly roll our way up. And we'll keep that left leg out in front of us. We'll tuck the right leg and come into Janu Shirshasana. So our hips are pointing forward. We can open that left leg out to the side a little bit, but we're not moving our hips anywhere. Good. Sitting bones are strong. Let's inhale. Hands come up high. And now exhale, let's twist to the right. Let's lower the hands down over here. Right hand behind our butt. Left hand can find the thigh. And then using that breath, we lengthen on the inhales, twist on the exhales, easing our way into it, encouraging and not forcing our body into this twist. Good. And then slowly let's come back to the center and even just over to that left leg. One hand on either side of that leg. We'll center over this without moving the hips, just turning the torso. And again, a little fold here, walking our way down. Good. And now let's take this right hand. We'll touch the outside of the leg, either to the toes or the calf or the knee. And then this left hand, we'll just begin to slide it back. You can find a spot behind our bum as we turn those shoulders a little bit and peek toward those left fingers. And then let's come back to the center. Yeah, and now let's take that left elbow, place it to the inside of the leg. We'll open up the shoulders to the right, and then that right hand can reach straight up or up and over. And then slowly, let's come up ever so slowly. Bring both legs out in front. We can give them a little shaky if we need. And then a little forward fold here. Good. And then let's slowly help ourselves up. Right leg can come out wide. Left foot will come inside into that thigh. Inhale, hands come up high. And then exhale, let's twist to the left, lowering those hands down to the thigh and back behind our keister. Inhale, we lengthen. Exhale, we twist. And then we'll slowly unwind, coming back around, all the way around to this right leg. One hand can come to either side of that leg. Chest is turning toward the knee. And then slowly fold forward. Good, and now into our twisted fold. The left hand will come to the outside of that right leg, and then our right hand will find a spot back behind us, and we'll begin to peek around that shoulder to find the fingers with our gaze. And coming back around to the center. Let's take that right elbow to the inside. Opening up those shoulders, one on top of the other. And then that left hand can reach up, or maybe up and over. Good. And on our next inhale, let's slowly raise back up. We'll tuck both legs in ever so briefly. Hands will come down to our mats and we'll roll over those shins. And we'll find ourselves in tabletop. Opening up those fingers really, really wide, pressing into each little digit. Our hands are under our shoulders, knees are underneath of our hips. And now let's exhale, rounding in the spine, lifting it up to the sky for cat. And then inhale, let's drop the tummy, press into the hands to lift the heart, lift the tail for cow. Good. Exhale. Let's go into our cat. And then inhale, cow. One more time. Exhaling. Rounding. Inhale, arching. And then we'll find that neutral spine. Breathing into the belly. Good. Now let's extend that left leg out behind us. Toes can touch the mat. We'll flex the foot and press the heel away from us, opening up in that calf. Good. And then we'll lift those toes up and we'll cross over that right foot with the left. And now let's peek over the right shoulder. See if we can look at those toes this time. Hopefully we're feeling some outer hip love and lengthen. Our ribs will open up a little bit. Good. And then we'll lift up those toes, come back to the center, press the heel back behind us. Good. And then we'll open up, lifting up that left hand. We can balance here if we would like, or if we would like, we can just lower those toes down to the mat, opening up those shoulders, lengthening in the front of the hip, all the way along in the spine. Good. And now, fun little air guitars. We'll just make big circles with our arms. Slowly as we breathe, we exhale, lower the hand down. Inhale, lift it high. Good. Exhale, lowering it down. Really keeping that reach with the fingers in every direction that they're pointing. Then we'll meet together back up at the top. And then we'll go the other direction. So exhale, lowering it down the other way. Inhaling it high. And exhaling down. Inhaling up. do one more. And we'll meet together at the top. And then we'll lower that left hand down to the mat. Lift those left toes and we'll step forward into our lizard. So bringing that foot all the way up by our pinky on the left-hand side. Wiggle our way into this. Give it a little bit of a time and breath. Let those hips settle into this little lunge. Pressing into the shoulders, keeping the back long. And then continuing to tuck that tail to open up the low back. If we're happy here, we can stay here. If we would like, we can try and challenge ourselves by lowering down onto our elbows. We get down here and we say, that's okay, but I don't really like it. I can come back. No biggie. And we'll help ourselves back up onto our hands. We'll bring this left hand onto the thigh, lifting our heart nice and tall. And now with this right hand, we're going to reach back, bend that right foot, or bend the right knee, try and gather up the foot, bring that heel in towards our bottom. If we have trouble with the balance here, we can also put our hand down to the ground or to a block, or back ourselves up against the wall and let the wall help us stay steady. Good, and then we'll release that foot so gently so that we don't whack it down onto the mat. Hands come down, and we'll even step back with that left foot. We'll come all the way down to a child's pose. Take a few breaths here whilst I switch sides. Good, let's come back to our tabletop. Finding good alignment with our hands and our knees. And then we'll extend that right leg out behind us. Flex the foot and place those toes down onto the mat. Press the heel away from us. Get that calf. Good, and let's lift those toes up. And then we'll cross over that left leg. Keeping our shoulders over our wrists. And then we'll begin to look over that left shoulder and try and find those toes with our gaze. Good. And then let's lift those toes, press the heel back behind us. Nice strong core. And then we'll take that right foot, step it forward into our lizard pose on this side. We forgot our air guitar. We'll get it. And again, if we would like, we can try and lower ourselves down onto our elbows. Or if we have a block, we can come down onto our block with our elbows as we can gradually work our way down. Good. And then slowly let's come back up. We'll place that right hand onto the thigh, lift our chest up nice and tall, and then the left hand will reach back. Find those left toes. Pull the heel in towards our bottoms and continue to sink those hips into the lunge. Keep pulling that left hip forward so everything is still pointing in the same direction-ish. General direction. Yeah. And we'll gently lower that foot down. Hands come down to the mat. Let's step this right foot all the way back. Stretch it back behind us. Left hand stays underneath the shoulder. Right hand reaches up to the sky. Again, we can balance here if we would like, or we can lower those toes down to the mat. What's really, though, important is to keep those hips opening. Strong, shoulders are open. Good. And now reaching over our head and then lowering that arm as we exhale. It's reaching down toward the ground and reaching toward the toes and then back up to the sky. Moving in big, deliberate circles. And now let's meet together at the top. And then we'll go the other way. Exhale, lowering that hand down as it reaches. And then inhale up to the sky. And exhaling down. Do one more. And then we'll meet back up at the top. And then we'll lower that, right hand down. We can bend the right knee. We'll find ourselves in child's pose again. Take 2 breaths here. Good. And now let's begin to creepy curl those fingers forward. So much so that we lift our hips up off of the heels and we bring them just over our knees. Once our hips are over our knees, we just continue to reach those hands. We sink the chest. And rest our forehead onto our mat. Or if we would like, we can try and place our chin on the mat. And now, little tiny steps, walking the hands backwards. Lower our butts back down onto the heels. And tuck our chin, round in the spine. We can even bring those hands all the way back towards our toes. Roll up into our little ball here for a couple, 3 breaths. Hands will come out in front of us. We'll swish our feet over to the left. Lower our butts down. We'll lengthen this left leg out in front of us. And then the right knee will bend and hug it tightly in towards our chest. Now we can stay here on the inside of that left thigh, or if we would like, we can cross it over to the outside of that left thigh. Left arm is going to hug tightly into that right leg. And then the right hand will find a spot to help extend our spine all the way down. Inhale, we lengthen, and then exhale, we're just going to twist to the right. Good. Let's release that twist. We'll come back to the center. I'll just lower that right knee, keeping the cross over the left leg with that ankle. And we'll slowly just fold forward. Just a few breaths here. And then slowly we'll come up. We'll unwind, we'll let that right leg lengthen, and then the left knee bends tight, tight, tight. Hug that knee into our chest. We can keep it on the inside, or if we would like, we can cross it over. Hug with that right arm. Lengthen on the inhales. And then exhale, we twist. Now let's release that twist. Open up that left knee, keeping the flex in the foot over the top of that right knee. And slowly fold forward. 3 breaths or so. And then we'll help ourselves up. We'll unwind those legs, shake them out if we would like. And then let's roll up into our little ball and we'll rock back onto our backs. Good, let's open up those knees really wide. Elbows go inside, holding the pinky toe sides of our feet. We'll come into dead bug. Bending those knees, using the arms to help those knees and feet come down toward the mat. We rest our shoulders and our head, and then the tail coming down as well. Trying to imprint as much of our spine into our mat as we can. And now let's release, come back into our eggs, hug our knees into our chest, tucking our chin. One more deep inhale. And then exhale, Shavasana, releasing ourselves to just find a comfortable position. Eyes closed. And with every breath, become heavier as we release into our mats, allowing the earth to support us, expecting nothing from ourselves but to just be. And when we're ready, begin to deepen our breath. Bring little subtle movements into our fingers and our toes. We slowly become aware of our bodies again. And when it's time, we'll roll up into our little ball. We'll rock over onto our sides and help ourselves up to seated. Take a moment to check in with how we are feeling right now after our practice and after our little yoga reset in our Shavasana. And we bring our hands together at our hearts. Bow to ourselves in gratitude for all of the gifts that we just gave us. I thank you so much for joining me today. Wish you all a very happy, joyous, and warm day. Great rest of your week. The light in the divine in me recognizes and respects the light in the divine in each of you. And when we are together, whether physically or virtually, we are one. Namaste.